Hello everybody, how's it going? This video is for those of you who are kind of stuck at home or on vacation or not able to be with groups at this time at Northwest Junior High. So this is going to be in reference to our current and upcoming disease project. It looks like we're going to try and shoot for the 1st of December for this to be all wrapped up. Those of you who are stuck at home, feel free. You don't have to do the poster version. You can do some aspects of Google Slides or kind of imprint. I'll show you an example of something that you could do as an alternative that would suffice and meet the requirements of this project as well. If you'll notice on Thursday, we do have another copy of our second trimester journal. Here's our question. We talked about NGOs. Please use the NGO slides and disease project slides that we talked about on Tuesday and Thursday of this week as well. Pretty self-explanatory. We emphasize the Carter Center for trying to eradicate the guinea worm from parts of sub-Saharan Africa. And essentially, we look at that. It's a organization, non-governmental organization, who has private and separate funds. And the reason why NGOs are so successful is because they can come in and focus on one singular problem and delineate all of their resources to help solve that problem. Whereas opposed to governments, they have to think about everything, but from roads, highway systems, water systems, electrical grids, educational facilities, colleges in some cases, police forces, military, all the socialized programs that they may have to help out the less fortunate. So they are spending their money in a lot of different places, whereas these non-governmental organizations or NGOs can really just come in and say, hey, we want to focus on African river blindness, or we want to get rid of malaria, or we want to get rid of the guinea worm. And they've done that. And the Carter Center is a really great example of a former U.S. president who started an organization to help eradicate several tropical diseases, but he's really been successful at the guinea worm. And what they do is they come in and they educate communities on how to simply get this guinea worm out of the water source. They provide wells for fresh drinking water so that they can't be infected with the guinea worm, and then they educate people on what to do if you are stricken with it. And then over the course of time, from 1986 all the way to now, 1986 there was 3.5 million cases of this parasite in Africa, and last year, or from August to January to August, there's only about 10 cases of this parasite affecting people. Now, it's not something that can kill you, but it does make your life pretty miserable to live. And so that's a great example of an NGO and the power that they have. So if you want to look up one, the Carter Center is definitely one that can help you answer that question and look through those slides as well. So you'll answer that in your second trimester journal. Now, moving to the disease project, if you want a copy to type on, there's a forced copy right here. A good place to get a lot of information is the CDC, also the WHO, the World Health Organization. Also, Johns Hopkins University has a lot of information on treatment and basic information about, about diseases themselves. Also, if you go to Northwest Junior High Library, let me just go here. There we go, Northwest Junior High. And then if I go to library, then there's a section on research. I can actually click on the Encyclopedia Britannica that we get access for free. And our code to get into that is, I don't know if you can see that there, 3141 Nort and GWood 10 exclamation point. So that will get you in with your Chromebook. 3141 Nort and then GWood 10 exclamation point will be your info login for that. All right. Copy the disease project here. So basically, all this top stuff, there is a typo in this, and I'll get to that in a minute. So kind of highlight the one that you're picking or delete the other ones that you're not doing. So malaria, HIV, tuberculosis, there's a lot of diarrheal diseases. Those can harm you just because they make you dehydrated and shut down your internal functioning systems. Sleeping sickness, dengue fever, river blindness, cholera, and meningitis. There are several different kinds of meningitis as well. First area is talking about posters, but if you want to make a digital printout of this, you can. If you're familiar with Canva, if you want to do it on PowerPoint, if you just want to do Microsoft Word and input pictures, it's totally up to you. Use what you can or use what you have access to. If you only have the Google platform, just do what you can with it. And I'll show you an example through Google Docs on how this will be. So the first area will be a map of Africa, okay, and the affected areas. So what countries in Africa are affected. Also look around the world. Is there any other places in which this disease affects others, right? So what are the places? Is it the tropical regions of the world? Is it Central America? Is it South America? Is it Indonesia? Try to find specific places and or wide general areas in which your disease is affected. The second part, the drawing of the disease itself. So if it's a bacteria, parasite, or a virus, I want you to find an image of that, a diagrammed image of that labeled, and put that into your project. Also, most of these are not just transmitted from person to person. A lot of these diseases are carried by a mosquito, and so you would want to draw that variant as well. So what is the organism that actually transmits the parasite or virus to you? That could be an insect, like a tsetse fly or mosquito is very common in these research projects. So it gives you a parasite or a virus or a bacteria, but what is the thing that actually is the carrier of that bacteria, parasite, or virus? I want to know that as well. So what spreads the disease? That's what that last part of that question is trying to ask you. So label the parasite, the bacteria, or the virus, and also the organism that carries it and gives it to you. Thirdly, what does it do? Okay, how do people get it? Okay, getting bit by a mosquito or a fly or whatever. What does the disease do to the body? You can find a good life cycle image of that as well, of the virus. What are the long-term effects? Okay, is it death if it goes untreated? What happens if you do treat it? Is there any conditions that it gives you that may be lasting? Or what are the onset symptoms? So if you have like warning signs of specific diseases, you could talk about those as well. And the last area should look at kind of how it changes people's behavior in these places where it's prevalent. How many people get the disease? What types of infrastructure could help the disease? And then how does it change the way people live? Do I have to sleep under a net? Do I have to wear protective clothing? Do I have to wear long sleeves and change the colors of my clothing? And lastly, what can be done to stop it? Right. So those are the basic premises. So for all of you who are distance learning at this point in time, basically answering these questions in some shape or form will suffice for your project requirements. Now here's where this is not totally accurate. This will be 22 points, and each one of these will be worth 5. So I'll change that right in front of you so you know that. So 22 points. Really, I'm not super picky. Explain as much as you can about each one of these sections. Now here's an example that I did through Google Docs, and I just took pictures and listed the URLs that I got them from. So what countries in the world are affected by this disease? I didn't want to label all of them. This is malaria, by the way. But here are all the areas that malaria affects people around the world, right? And it's broken down by risk and limited risk. And then I just wrote in my own words about where it can be found outside of Africa. Okay, and that was from the WHO website. The drawing of the disease or the organism. This is Plasmodium. This is the triggering of it. This is what this is the parasite that causes malaria. Malaria is spread by mosquitoes, and only female mosquitoes actually. So this is an adult female with the labeled parts. And here's my source to that. What does the disease do to people? In my own words, what does the disease do to the human body? So these are the symptoms in my own words. And I found a nice life cycle chart where it bites you. It gives you the parasite, and then it goes through this whole stage of affecting your blood cells, and then it bites you and gets it back again and does the same thing. So then there's a source to that. What are the long-term effects? If left untreated, malaria can cause jaundice, yellowing of the skin. It may also cause more severe reactions like damaged kidneys, lead to confusion, coma, even death. What percentage of the population gets the disease? About 10% of the world. But then I also noted that most people who die live in Africa. How would infrastructure impact the disease? With increased infrastructure, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so you can read that, I guess. How does the disease change the way people live in affected areas? I kind of put it in my own words. And these might not be questions that necessarily are out there, but you need to formulate based upon how the disease spreads and the areas in which people get the disease. You can look at, do they have good water sources? Do they have sanitary sewers? Do they have proper protection, right? And what can stop the disease? There's preventative measures on just about every website that I looked at for malaria. So There are even Council of Foreign Relations wants to eradicate malaria by the year 2040 from the earth. So there's different ways to do that by trying to breed impotent mosquitoes to getting medications in the correct place to passing out nets to stop the life cycle of the parasite itself. So pretty cool. You guys will probably do this a little bit faster since it's digitally. So we're going to work on this. This is Friday. I'm making this Friday. We're going to work on it Monday, Tuesday, and then we go on Thanksgiving break, and then we're going to work on it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. When we get back, it'll be due that Wednesday, December 1st. Okay. So if you have any further questions or you need help with resources, please let me know. And yeah, I mean, that's it. It can be as simple as a Google Doc with the listed answers and a couple of different images that you find. If you want to draw and do things yourself, that's fine. You just need to try to figure out how to digitize those and put those into your document or hand those in to me when you get back to school. All right. Hope you guys are all doing well, and I hope to see you all very, very soon.